Welcome everybody to Catfish Weekly along with Chad and Josh. I'm Lyle and boys. Lows in the 40s and 60s and highs in the 70s and 80s. Does it get much better than that?
Definitely gets better
It
than whatever
does.
your audio is doing again.
It Damn, man, you're just too hard to please.
Well, I can't help it. Sounds like you got belly lint up in your microphone
How's
thing.
that? That better?
No.
Well, there's nothing else to change. The phone's not close, and that's
I
what
think
you blame it on.
I think it's one of your cords. Now Josh blames it on your phone.
I think that I don't know. Is it any
Alexa,
better?
can you tell Lyle what's wrong with his
It
computer?
doesn't work, weenie washer. It don't work. It's turned off. So ha 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 ha. Thirsty
Anyway,
are you?
I stay thirsty.
You know, me too. Before the show, we was talking about how much weight you've lost, Chad, and we're all very proud of you for what you've accomplished. It's a major deal. Um, I've lost 50 pounds, and I thought that was a big deal, but it's nothing compared to what you do. You don't even look like the same person body-wise.
Well, I can tell you that it's starting to get cold in the mornings and at night.
Instead of being hot all the time?
I'm kind of missing it. I'm missing that.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, you notice it. You
You
notice
do.
it.
You do.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy for you. I mean, that's a major deal, and you're doing great, and we're all thrilled for you, man.
I got a little bit ways to go, man, but I keep getting I hit what I think is a plateau, and it takes me a while, and then all of a sudden 5-10 pounds come off, and then
Yeah.
plateau again for a bit, and then
You just kind of
Most doctors will tell you that happens a couple of times on your journey, but hey,
I got a
if it
long
doesn't,
journey.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. But do you have a goal?
Not really. I don't, because people are like, what do you want to get down to? And I'm like, I don't have a number right now. I just healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
From where I was a year ago when I was literally about ready to leave this world because my health was so bad, and prayers to Mr. Chris from Catch Fish with Us. You look at Bobcat, and he didn't expect that heart attack. You look at our buddy Jim, Catman Clark,
Yeah.
Yep.
out there. Do we take our health for granted too often? And I was on the
That's
verge of
fact.
that.
Can
My
I ask you
love,
a question?
my love for the grease, man, was getting to me, and
Well, if it's not greasy, it's not good. But,
you're not
hey,
wrong.
do you do any exercising, or are you just watching your diet?
No, portion control is for mine. I
Okay.
was on the,
That's the best way to do it.
yeah, I was on Ozempic for a while, and then I have not been on that for a little bit now. So
Good for you.
I see somebody in the basement, but they're sideways.
Yeah,
And ugly. I mean,
Up there he
ugly.
goes.
but
Wait. Where's that? Hang on just a minute. Before we
God
do
only knows what he's about to
anything,
do, Josh.
come on now.
I'm
You
worried
gotta
about him
trust me.
clicking stuff now.
You got to trust me, fellas. You have to.
No, we don't.
Sure you do.
Well, while you do,
Baby.
Delete that now.
Sending.
Oh wow.
That's one of my favorite things of all time.
I'm gonna say hi to
I don't-
people. How about
Let's
that?
do that.
First in, we got Brian B. Camp Fishing. Got Crappie Day Fish on 1756. Mark Barnum. Lance McCoo guy. John Boy's Catfishing. Wonder why it's showing everybody's weird number.
That's really weird
That's
that it's showing everybody's username today instead of their.
Yeah, the first, the second one, I'm like, that ain't right.
I have YouTube pulled up
new.
on my. I have YouTube pulled up on my other screen, and YouTube chat is doing it as well. It may be a YouTube glitch tonight.
Maybe. But anyway, we'll move on. We got Mama Cindy Stokes. We've got VM Smith. Yak's Fishing Adventures. Yak's is not doing it. Creole Catfishing is not doing it.
Well, that's their
And it still has their
username.
okay. So so that's just a regular username. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad. Hey, my bad, dude. My bad, dude. I've
You're
been wrong
bad,
twice
buddy.
today. Calm down. Miss Chrissy Brown, Nebraska Wildcats. Member LG Bass. Let's see. I'm missing same people over and over and over and over and over. There's Mr. Mike Irvin and Mike Sampson. Member Catfish and Crappie.
Oh, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
We were just talking about you. These guys were making fun of you, and I was sticking up for you, if you can believe it.
He knows that's some BS.
My buddy Bugman22. My buddy, member Danny Stone Outdoors. He sent me a picture earlier of his dinner.
Oh, didn't that look great? He said,
Oh, it looks awesome.
It was so rude.
He asked me to put it in the bragging board, so I did.
Should. Got
Very
Mr. Greg
nice.
Burgess. NCMO Outdoors. Yeah, they're gonna have to fix this. I don't like this.
Yeah, this is hard to keep track of. Oh, look at that. New pending Iowa Blue record caught yesterday, 105 pounds.
That's
Wow.
a giant.
I didn't know they had fish like that up there.
New to
Normally not.
actually.
Normally they don't get past the Keokuk Dam.
There's the catch fish with us. And a member for 45 months, Mr. Josh, the weekend angler. I'm not going to read his comment.
It was true.
Oh, come on.
I don't care. Yeah, this makes it much harder to figure out who you said hi to and who you have not. So I apologize.
Yeah. There's Big Bill's veteran catfishing.
I do hope that Heather feels better, Cindy. I don't even want to talk about Big Bill.
Give
I
Heather
put him
some
on
of that
so many
potato
fish
soup. She'll feel
over the
better.
weekend. He caught and Bill caught all the big ones and gave me all the little channel cats. But anyway,
Well, that's
That
good.
beats
It's what
that
you
home
do
run
when you have a
TV.
guest on your boat.
I always have a guest on my boat.
Well,
But he's
yeah.
family. He's family. It don't matter.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah,
So-
that changes things a little bit there. So,
I will
Yeah.
apologize if I missed anybody. I don't know what's up with the username thing, but
yeah,
hi
YouTube's
to
being a
everybody.
butt tonight. So,
Anyway,
Mark
let's move on.
Barnum says that fish was caught on the Missouri River. That makes sense
okay.
because they can travel that extensively all the way up to South
Whisker
Dakota.
do, not whisker don't.
Hey,
I think but that's Ray. That's Ray Smith. I know the logo.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Remember Ray?
thank you so much for being a member for 53
There's
months.
Grey
We
Wolf Outdoors
appreciate it.
Homestead.
And Dustin Clark, I don't know.
Greg Burgess is the show froze. Not that I'm aware of,
I have no idea.
but it wouldn't surprise me if YouTube's being.
No, it's from what I see, it's not.
Let me
No,
pull
it
up
seems
another
to be working
screen.
on mine, but
I have two screens, one with YouTube up and one with
Yeah.
StreamYard, and they're both going. So
Jeff Beal says there's a banana on the panel. Is it the same as a banana on the boat?
no,
Do I?
There's a
No.
banana up there by you, Chad.
Hey,
Oh, and by the way, for those that didn't see it, Josh had a heck of a night last night. Channel.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was. I cleaned fish for an hour or so when I got home. Got them all chunked up. We got 2-gallon bags of catfish nuggets put in the freezer. And we kept one out in the fridge, and I'm going to fry those up tomorrow. So,
Oh, good for you. Danny Stone Outdoors, member
Danny.
for 45 months. Thank you so much, my friend.
I launched my boat yesterday. I'm going to go off on a tangent. I launched my boat and was throwing the net, catching shad, and I was going to surprise Danny and hop up in his live because he wasn't catching any fish and Jerry Parker wasn't catching any fish. And I was like, we need somebody in there to catch some fish. And about the time I put the first shad in the boat, Danny goes, well, that's going to be the end of it. And he shut his live off.
Go figure.
so what are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about eating fish. More specifically, we're going to talk about responsible harvest. And we got somebody in here tonight to talk about that. Let's bring him in. My good buddy James Dockery.
What's good about him?
When I asked for some help yesterday to read chat and help me out in my live, that right there, he was the first person to pop up.
Well, that's
Evening,
because
everyone.
He doesn't do anything else. You know.
So let me start off by saying that today during my court-ordered anger management and therapy session, she wanted to know why I was so angry and how long I've been angry. And I told her it's been about 10 years. And she asked me, she was like, well, hold on. Let me finish this. She asked me exactly, what happened 10 years ago. And I'll be damned. The only thing that actually happened was me meeting Lyle Stokes in person.
Your lucky day, wasn't it?
That's what I was going to ask, is how long have you known Lyle Stokes?
Exactly. And by the way, okay, this is in the Bass Pro Shop parking lot. So everybody can Google Bass Pro Shop in Columbia, Missouri. All right. Look at the parking lot. There are no curbs in that parking lot at all.
You must be standing on a bucket then.
I'm not standing on a bucket.
You're standing on something.
So yeah, no.
Look at the look at the guy in the white or silver Dodge truck back there who's just shocked.
Yeah, he's trying not to make eye contact
to
with
see
Lyle.
Santa Claus out there.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay.
So the NCMO Outdoors' question: Where can I get rod tip replacements?
Now, Walmart sells a cheap kit. They're
You can
getting
get them
buys.
at Bass Pro.
But a lot of times too, you can go to your mom and pop type bait store shops, and they can do those for you.
Mm-hmm. Amazon, anything you want's on Amazon.
Just have a way to measure it, because tips are measured the inside diameter in 64ths of an inch. So you need to know what size tip you need, and just go someplace that sells
There's
them.
Captain Terry Rogers. He says
Mom and pop
Sports has them
places
too.
and any of the big box stores, Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, they've all got tips and stuff. Josh said Amazon, get on there and just order you one. Highly recommend getting a stainless steel tip. You'll be happy in the long run that you did, because you get a good chrome plated one. Fuji makes a great one, and if you use braid line, it will not groove.
Well, all right.
Somebody said Academy Sports.
Yeah, that's Captain Terry Rogers.
Yeah.
We're having to guess, guys, because YouTube's being crazy tonight and not showing people's names. It's showing your @ sign.
That's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is. But Creole says definitely standing on a parking bumper.
Parking bumper.
There's something
not happening. And the funny thing is, he just keeps getting shorter every year.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true.
That is very, very true.
If you say so.
So should you release every fish you catch?
No.
All right.
No.
So we kind of touched on this a little bit last night on Josh's live stream about breaking fishing down into numbers. All right. So numbers are really, really important, even in fishing. All right. And it's actually kind of the most important thing. When you're talking about growth, you're talking about, how healthy the water is, you're looking at all the different factors of this. So you take a healthy lake, and let's start with, say, 2 fish. All right. You've got a female and a male fish, and they're 1 to say 2 years old. All right. that female goes to lay her eggs, she is only going to lay about, I want to say it's, let me make sure I've got all my information down here. It's got it anywhere from about 50 to say 500 eggs the first year. And this is all, and guys, and you have to understand, this is all depending on where you're at in the United States. The more north you go, the growth rate is going to slow down. The southern you go, the growth rate is going to speed up. So when I'm talking of kind of, you know, the middle of the country where I'm at is where most of this research has been coming from. So when they, you know, when they spawn and everything else, the growth rate of a channel cat in the wild, and then we're talking just the wild right now, because in captivity is a totally different thing. And we're talking about channel cats, because that's what Josh was going after last night. So within the first, you know, 2 years, this channel cat female has laid around maybe say 500 eggs. Half of those eggs are going to die that first year. All right. Half the spawn that comes out, they're going to die of, you know, disease, predators, you know, all different types of things. Some years it's a little higher, some years it's a little lower. It all depends on the weather, lake quality, you know, that kind of stuff. So the second year of that, or third year of that fish's life, that fish has already reached 1 to 3 pounds, again, depending on the weather, you know, the lake quality and stuff like that. And that egg production number in that catfish will jump to about 4,000 to almost 11,000 eggs for the season. And this also depends on how big the channel cat is. You know, the smaller ends is going to be on the lower side of the numbers. The larger fish are going to be on the higher side. So you're talking, you know, by the end of that, you know, first year, you figure we're going to go with the third class. And the class is the spawn, is when they spawn out, they hatch. That's what most biologists call, or fisheries biologists call that year's spawn, is a class. It's a class of fish. Now, so let's say you've got a 3-pound fish and they have 10,000, 11,000 eggs. Half of those are going to die that first year. So you're down to 5,000. Well, that starts that cycle all over again, with having more eggs the next year, more eggs the next year, more eggs the next year, more eggs the next year. So, and by the time, you know, say a channel cat, and most of the country, you know, most of our channel cats are getting 10 pounds is a good sized channel cat. I don't care where you go, unless you're on Mendota. All right. If you're on Mendota, that's, you know, that's eater size. I hate to say this, but that is truly an eater size. That's something you would take home. But so, you know, a 10-pound channel cat is going to lay 50 to 60,000 eggs a year. There's no way one person, okay, and we're talking just one person fishing, one person and one female channel cat that has spawned properly, you will never eat that many fish. Mainly because it's not healthy for you, because of, you know, they only recommend you eating so many fish, you know, per month or whatever. But those fish are generally going to be stunted in some of these lakes because, let's be honest, catfishing, people have adopted the same thing as bass fishing, where everything has to go back. Everything, you know, every single thing. Now, let's take a look at Mendota. Mendota is the trophy catfish lake in the United States. I don't care what anybody says. Their DNR spends more time and money on that lake, making sure that that water is top quality. There's plenty of bait fish. There's plenty of suckers. The food, you know, quality is great. They have one of the best ecosystems for the spawn, because you have Lake Cherokee that is attached to Mendota, and they can get in and out, in and out, in and out. So, on average, most of the people up there realize, okay, look, one, this brings in a lot of economic money for the state and the town, people buying fishing license, staying in hotels, all that stuff. So they encourage you, throw back them, the fish over 10 pounds. Keep those smaller ones, because the more you keep, the healthier those big fish are going to get. But at the same time, guys, even Josh had one last night. No, fault of his own. He had a fish that was deep hooked. He was bleeding out in his boat. And even if that fish would have been 50 pounds, that fish had to come out of that water.
Oh,
he would have died.
I made a
that
comment
fish
last night during that said, along those same lines. I said, this was one that the responsible thing in that case is to harvest that fish. And my boat, thankfully I was in that Bayliner. It's a white fiberglass boat. There's not a stitch of carpet in it. My boat, the inside of the boat looked like a murder scene from all the blood on that fish.
Yeah.
So he became table fare, and he would have, regardless of size. So
right. And at the same time, we do have people out there that they will harvest 60, 70, 80 pound blues and flatheads every year. As long as they bought that fishing license, there's nothing you should say to them about that. Yes, it's a trophy fish that has gotten taken out of the lake, or the river system. But here's the thing. When you pull that big fish out, another one's going to go in there and fill that spot. That's not, as long as you're responsible fishing, and I'm not talking about like, say, the Ohio River where commercial fishermen have just decimated, the entire ecosystem, and it's like they don't care. I'm talking, even on the Mississippi River, the commercial fishermen over here, they have to keep detailed records of their daily catch. Every time they go out, what they're catching, the byproduct they're catching, and anything other than the carp and the catfish has to go back into that water immediately unharmed out of those fish traps. So, but they do take some big ones out, but not all the time. Most, a lot of these guys are like, look, by the time I clean a big fish, it's not worth it. The average size that they're looking for is the 1 to 3 pound range. And that's where your, mom and pop fish farms come in, and, they're feeding them, and it takes a year in a commercial setting for a channel cat to reach 1 to 3 pounds, depending on how much food they're getting. So, but if you don't pull out those fish, you're going to get a stunted population. And if you take a look at some of the bass tournaments that have happened in the United States, and go back and look at the weights from, say, 20 years ago versus now. You're catching a 5 pound bass, 8 pound bass, and the crowd is going wild over an 8 pound bass. You don't see the 10 to, say, 14, 15 pound bass like you used to back in the beginning of this, because everybody keeps going, just throw it back, throw it back, throw it back, throw it back. And the bass population in most places gets so overstocked. Catfish will get the same way if you do not harvest them. Bluegill will get the same way if you don't harvest them. Crappie will explode in a lake if you do not harvest them. And you go from having, 12, 13, 14 inch crappie to 9 to 10 inch crappie, and that's a big one. So the importance, of, if we're buying our fishing license for them to stock those fish, we're buying our fishing license to support their wildlife activities and stuff like that. And I know this is kind of a controversial thing to say, but wildlife, whether it's deer, pheasant, turkey, fish, they are truly the only renewable resource we have. If we properly manage them and go by the numbers, not by, somebody's feelings or, somebody being paid to say something, we can bring back species that, are on the verge of extinction. The wolf population in the United States is one of them. Here in Missouri, the otter, population, the bobcat population, the bear populations. We've brought them back now to where we're actually having seasons open to hunt bear.
Mm-hmm.
So, take into consideration, and that's all comes down to numbers. And that's where I say numbers are so important when you're fishing. And we don't even realize, most people don't even realize it.
And look at a lake like Baldwin. Power Plant Lake. It's got warm water year round. It's got just a tremendous population of bait fish in it. And the blue cats have been very successful since they've been stocked in that lake. However, not as many are getting taken out as what probably needs to be, and they're all stunted. Baldwin is full of 3 to 5 pound blues. You can go up there, catch a boat full, and fill your freezer and not hurt the population of that lake. But
and I don't mean to interrupt you, Josh, but I saw a comment up here by Jeff Bill. If you pull that big fish out, it's going to take a while for another catfish to get that big. Mm-hmm. You're right. There, depending on what area of the country you're in, the growth rate is going to take a bit. But here's the thing. Every single year, they do a sample survey where they go out and they collect fish. The conservation does.
Oh, that's the wrong one. It moved.
Between Lock 19 and Lock 20 on the Mississippi River.
Y'all chat.
That is just, that is just, them sampling that area. Every single year, they sample and bring up at least 10 species that could break state records and at least 5 that can break world records.
Every
year. And some of the biologists that I have talked to over the years says that you can go to any of those body of water or pools, on the Mississippi River and do a sampling of that and have the exact same result all the way down. You have world records, you have state records just constantly sitting in that lake or in that river system. You have commercial fishing guys. You have guys that go out every, weekend and they'll load up on their limit and stuff like that. Is it hurting the fishing population in that river? It's not. There's abundant supply of food. There's more food in those ecosystems now on the Mississippi River than there was before because, unfortunately for all of us, you have the Asian carp, you have the silver carp, you've got grass carp, and you're never getting rid of them.
Yeah.
So there's an abundance of supply of food in there. So they're growing bigger and faster than what they would have, say, 20, 30 years ago.
And all those species that's not supposed to be in there now have become a common food source for all catfish.
Yes, and the way on the Asian carp itself, they will breed up to 4 times a year. They are actually part of the minnow family. So once a water temperature hits a certain degree, that's it. They're spawning after spawning after spawning after spawning. So we're never getting rid of them. We are stuck with them forever. Our only hope is that we can truly stop them from getting up into the Great Lakes and stuff like that. But I'm here to tell you, there's always going to be people that will catch a whole bunch of them, throw them in a boat, go up there, misidentify them as shad or something like that, have some left over at the end of the trip and chunk them out of the boat.
Yep.
And that's how you're going to spread. We've got lakes here in Missouri that now have Asian carp that have no way, that the Asian carp should have gotten in there besides people putting them in there.
I've heard that they'll stick to birds' feet too, like your herons and stuff.
I'm not sure about that one.
I don't know. I've always heard that, but
I've always heard it too, but I don't know that anybody.
If you go right behind Wren Lake Spillway, if you go right back there behind Wren Lake to the spillway, it is just chock full of Asian carp. You go into Wren Lake, you don't see those fish.
They can't
And
get
the
past
herons
the
go
dam.
back and forth, right? All they have to do is cross Route 154 and they're in the lake. So if it was going to happen, you know,
but here's the thing: the sad reality is
they're probably
already made it in there.
Yep, they're probably in there.
And,
They're just not established.
right. And we had one lake. I don't even remember the name of it, but I think it was around St. Louis somewhere. That somebody did just that. They, thought that it was some shad that they had used a net to catch. They went fishing on this lake, used, what they had. At the end of the day, they threw what was still alive back in the water.
Chad, you need to get some
Into that lake.
juvenile Wells catfish and mistake them for bullheads. And at the end of
Yeah.
the day, just
Yeah.
dump them in the Ohio River. Just saying.
They'd be taken in our pool. They would be taken out in a month. And
It also
so
heavily violates the, I believe it's the Lacey Act. So
It does.
The point.
yeah, you
Very
you
much
can't even
so.
import those. So.
But to like what James is saying, and every body of water though has to have that balance, right? No matter like I've got a couple lakes around here. They're about 100-acre lakes, 150. The same thing, right? Making sure that people are taking them out, but at the same time they're not over harvesting. If you got a, and I know the DNR does this because they test a lot of stuff in the state of Kentucky as well. Is there's a reason why you go to a lake around here and you go to a different lake and you go to a different lake. Every lake will have like a 9-inch minimum for crappie. They'll have a specific slot for bass, et cetera, and it changes sometimes lake to lake, and based off of just exactly what Dockery is saying, they're going maybe not every year, but maybe every other year, every 3 years, and they're doing the test on these lakes and seeing what the impact of fishing has done to that, to make sure not only are the fish ecosystem balance, but what the fishermen are doing to that lake is, like you said, if it's being stunted, they're probably going to lower that limit from 10-inch to 9-inch, so people start keeping those up, 9 to 10 inches more often. They may say your limit was 30, now it's 40 or 20, depending on the population that's in it. So
let's take Reelfoot Lake for an example.
yeah,
All right,
that's a good one.
Reelfoot used to be the crappie destination for everybody. All right, they all wanted to go to Reelfoot because the crappie were monstrous in there.
And tons
unfortunately,
of
unfortunately, because of the advancement in technology and stuff like that, and everyone using live scope, that they only wanted to target the large ones. Now, if you go down there, you have a very strong limit of size from the smaller ones, even the larger ones, of what you could take every year. And it's because the ecosystem has changed so much down there that it's because of live scope. And if you have live scope, hey, that's on you. All right, I'm not going to judge you or anything like that unless your name is Mark, and you still can't catch fish with it. But
oh my god.
But yeah, so I mean, they actually they go off of so many different numbers that it's not even funny.
Well, I think what part of what you said there is definitely the truth. The technologies that we have, not just live scope, but depth finders, et cetera, has gotten so much better. But what we're doing right here, right now, has increased thousands of percent, and that's the social media influence of places like that, where now if you got to be careful because of used to you would have somebody take a picture and they blur out the back, and now we're all putting videos out and going live, et cetera,
Okay,
et cetera.
you're not blurring the background in a live and not happening.
Exactly,
okay, but here's the problem. All right, and if somebody knows how to do it, they can pinpoint your location off of that photo.
Yeah,
even if you've blurred the background, they can take the information from that photo that you've uploaded, and they know exactly where you are anyway.
100%. But what I'm saying is you start talking about, say even, I'm surprised it hasn't happened like with Baldwin, right? You look at what happened on the Tennessee River, the social media of skipjack and skipjack fishing. I mean, it was already a hot spot for people to go catch skipjack. And then it became, now they're having to put in laws where you can't keep more than 50 per person, right? Where used to it was more and more and more. Now it's less and less and less. You look at people like Bobcat and the people down there by Chattanooga, they have not been able to hardly catch skipjack for 2 years now.
But you know, I think a lot of that also, though, is because skipjack is one of the top baits for catfish, and it doesn't matter if you're fishing for blues, flats, channels, whatever. Our commercial fishing rules and regulations have changed over the years, and people do break those rules. They break the regulations all the time, and unfortunately, the fines and penalties that these people face when they, get caught is no more than, a slap on a wrist.
Yeah.
So, if you would actually, set, an example out of these people and make sure that, you know what, if you're going across state lines to fish for skipjack and you're bringing back, your limit plus, just to sell. I'm not talking, we're talking, we're making, these people are making thousands or, several trips, a month, bringing back thousands of skipjacks. I've seen it, Chad. I know you've seen it, so what are we going to do with these people? There was a case not too long ago, where a Texas couple came up in here to Missouri and had over 100 trout that they had caught in a week's time in coolers and stuff like that. The conservation department went in, they confiscated their fish, and they basically wrote them a ticket for, I want to say it was less than $200 was the fine. And don't get me wrong, they have to pay court costs and stuff like that.
It's worth it.
Exactly.
I don't get it. That's not going to stop anything.
No, it's not. You start confiscating rod, reels, trucks, boats, that kind of stuff. That's how you're going to get these people.
If you get caught with frog legs, it's $25 a leg. If you get caught
it used to be. I don't know. I don't know if it still is though.
An ounce for an illegal turkey. An ounce. Yeah. Them's the kind of fines that will deter that stuff.
Yeah, but again, it leads us back to boiling down to numbers on fish. Whether it's a number of money, whether it's number of fish caught, all of this stuff. And how bad is it actually helping or hurting the ecosystem that you're at? And Mother Nature will take care of an overpopulated lake one way or the other.
That's right.
And when that happens, you get massive fish kill-offs. So would you rather harvest healthy fish or go out to your favorite place and look and see thousands just floating, rotting on the top of the water?
It's the same way with deer. Mother Nature right now is taking care of the overpopulation of deer.
And I don't know which one of you asshats put up crappie as an excellent bait, but stop it right now.
It is an excellent bait.
I wouldn't know. We're not allowed to use it.
I was the one who put that up.
We can't even use it after we've filleted it and cut the heads off.
That makes zero sense not to be able to use the corpus. Zero sense.
Yeah, but you're preaching to the choir. I mean,
I'll preach to the people that in charge if they just listen, but they won't. They're like you. They're very hard-headed and selfish.
Crappie make excellent bait.
That's what
I've had nights where bluegill, shad, all the rest of it didn't get nothing. But boy, you throw a half a crappie out there and you get your arm tore off. But you have to be careful. If you're on a lake in Illinois that has a limit on crappie, a length limit, you can still use that crappie provided you caught it using a legal fishing method. You cannot make cut bait out of it.
You have to use it whole?
You have to use it whole. Because if the game warden comes around and you've got half a crappie out there, how does he know whether it was 9 inches or 10 inches or anything else? That's the reasoning behind it. Once you
that they have actually rules and regulations here in Missouri that you are not allowed to clean fish on the water, on any body of water here, because once they fillet them, they claim that the conservation agent may not be able to identify the fish from the fillet, which could be true.
Isn't that their job?
Yeah, but you have a whole bunch of people that like to catch small fish like you do, and in that small range, it could be a bass, could be, whatever. So
I understand bass makes excellent bait, and if there's anything that should be allowed to be used as bait, it's them nasty damn things.
So back to what I was saying is more what I was saying is like the commercial guys around here, they watch our pages, our Facebooks and everything else, right? And that's more what I'm saying is I think that has put a different pressure on the waterways other than just people catching and releasing. Now, I would like to turn this conversation to maybe asking you a question, like an every weekend type fisherman. For me, me personally, I don't keep fish most like the summertime. Pre-spawn till about the fall. I don't keep anything. I usually will keep some stuff pre-spawn, and then once it gets back into the fall, I'll load up again. But what are your thoughts on? I think we've talked about it before. To me, that 2 to 7, 8 pound range is depending on the species. Like channel cats is normally about 5, 6 pounds. Blue cats about 7, 8 pounds. What are your thoughts on that? Because I'm more of a selective harvest type person of what I'm doing, and that's my go-to. But
see, now with me, it is truly selective harvest, and I, full disclosure, I've been yelling about selective harvest for years. I really truly have.
Yeah, honestly, you're what kind of changed my perspective of where everybody was going with the CPR. It was talking to you so much.
And where everybody's opinion is going to be different on this, and there truly is no wrong answer to whether you CPR everything, whether you selective harvest everything, whether you, all of that stuff. Me personally, I don't think that even if you're fishing pre-spawn for these big cats, or for, eater cats, let's say eater, we're not talking trophies.
If
we're
you
talking
have one
eaters.
of these for any state, as long as you are within legal means, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's your choice.
And it's a personal choice. It really and truly is, and fish have been around in this country long before any of us ever even thought about being here.
Lyle?
Yeah, well, maybe not him, but but no, I mean, so you're not going to personally, if I go out and I catch my limit every weekend of eater size channel cat year round, I'm not hurting that population.
No.
I'm not even putting a dent in that population. Look at some of these catfish guys that, commercial, or they run charter boats and stuff like that on these big lakes, where there are no limits, but they're going out and they're knocking the hell out of channel cat, blue cats, just left and right, left and right, left and right. And they're filling coolers, and we're talking, big coolers for their clients filled with fish. Do you think that they would keep doing that if that ecosystem couldn't handle that? That's literally their bread and butter. And they do it every single day, all year round. And they always have clients, and they always have fish.
Mm-hmm.
And we personally, all right, the four of us, everybody in chat, anybody that might be listening, we have a right to say whatever we want. We have a right to our opinion. We have a right to say, you should not have caught that fish. But at the same time, I have a right to catch any size fish I want and take home, whether it's a bass, whether it's a crappie, whether it's a, blue, a flat, or whatever. And anything that you say, isn't going to, truly affect me, except if you really start hounding on people and they're anything like I am, I will go out and I will catch the biggest fish I can, especially bass. Bass fishermen, are the worst at it. Anything over 2 pounds, they want you throwing back in the water.
Yep.
When that starts happening, and it gets to the point where I'm getting message after message after message on my Facebook, I will fillet that fish with the before and after of exactly how much it weighed and post it online.
Yep.
Just because I can. And there's not a damn thing I would. No, and there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it.
You paid for your license. You've harvested a fish using a legal method. You have kept a fish that is your right to keep. It's bass the bass scene is about the worst. If you harvest any of them, they freak out.
Yep.
Hate to tell you folks, but cat fishermen are getting just as bad.
They are.
Bad news of the night.
But at the same time, Josh, crappie fishermen are just as bad. Walleye fishermen are just as bad. It's the group that,
it's
we all run around
you
with.
Like to target, you want to protect.
Exactly. You are always going to make some group pissed off.
That's fact. Hell, we make you pissed off every day.
Every day.
Brian's got it right. Said, I believe you take what you want if it's for eating. If you're taking the fish to be a Chad head or for pay lakes, I definitely disagree with that.
What are you talking about a Chad head?
And here's the thing,
Brian, can you translate what a Chad head is?
In private, please. Private, please.
No. Let's have it on chat.
No. So there's certain things that cannot be said in chat. You've told me that. So, and even if you don't, if you don't want to harvest, these channel cats, especially the eater size ones, because you don't like to eat them or whatever the case may be. If you would take your limit, say twice a month out of there, you take those fish. You may even find somebody sitting on that bank that'll take every single one of those fish and be grateful to take them things home and clean them and supply them with, with that meal. You can clean those fish and donate it to a church, and they'll pass it out to people in need.
Yeah.
Talk to your game warden or conservation agent and say, hey, look, you know what? I've got X amount of fish here. I've reached my limit. I still want to fish, but I need for these fish to go somewhere else. Do you know of a family that could use these? Every single agent, I guarantee you, knows at least 100 families in their area that could use that fish.
That's right.
Meat's expensive now.
It is.
It's very expensive.
Meat is outrageous. You look at ribeye steaks, you're paying $25 a pound or more.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
A pound of hamburgers, $5.
Yeah.
So, we supplement where we can.
If you can find hamburger for $5 a pound.
Matt from Wannabe Outdoors said, look up Hunters for the Hungry. I've never heard of that one.
Yep. There's all types of organizations out there.
Shelters will take wild game and fish. Ours won't in Illinois because Illinois is the land of regulation, and they do not allow them to take anything that's not.
What's the major political party that runs that state?
Damn good and well.
Anyway, but before you start giving away, and I should stress this, before you start giving away game, all right, and a fish is considered a game animal.
Yes.
Check your local and state regulations before you do. There's no reason, for you to get a ticket over this or anything like that. Make sure you just check out, what's legal and what's not legal.
Call your DNR. They will tell you that's what they're there. That's what your tax dollars go to fund them. They're there to answer questions for you.
Yeah, well,
and I promise you, they would much rather you call and ask them a question.
Yes.
And they tell you no or yes, than to catch you out doing it and it be no and you've done yes and give a ticket. All that's done is make more paperwork for them. That's not what they're looking to do. So
no,
right. And they're not looking to arrest anybody. They're not really looking to give anybody a ticket. They just want to make sure that you're doing right by their laws, and that's it. So don't. And they've got a hard enough job as it is because they wear that badge. That's and I guarantee you, I've talked to enough conservation agents. I've talked to enough highway patrol and sheriff's office, local PD, all that. one of them told me something here a while back that made more sense than anything. Every single day that they put that badge on, that badge gets heavier and heavier.
Mm-hmm.
They're not out to give you a hard time. They're not. They're just trying to do their job. There's no reason for you to get pissy if they come up and check you.
Here's the thing.
No,
they want to go to work and they want to do their 8 hours and they want to go home to their families with the same number of holes in their body that the good Lord sent them to earth with, and no
That's
more.
right.
That's what they want.
Now, I will say, when I was a kid, I thought that they picked on me, except a lot. But
but
you only had one.
Like that.
Exactly, and you only had one sheriff, and it was what, a wooden house in the middle of town. No,
what?
Well, you know, they
see us younger
that big
generation got
flood,
that.
and they were down to 2 fish, and you were trying to keep one. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
that's
they
true.
were.
But you know, honestly, it is very simple. I was out Saturday, me and Bill, and we went over to the Indiana side of the Ohio and went up a creek into this little creek where there's a boat ramp, and we drug around that for a little bit, and we was reeling them up, getting ready to come back out, and boat started approaching us, and it was the DNR, and he stopped us earlier in the year, and it took him a minute to recognize us, but it was very simple, very cordial. How you doing? We already was pulling up out of our license for him, and you know, he's like, "Hey, how'd you guys doing back here?" And it was very simple. We had caught 7. He's like, "Did you keep any?" Said, "Nope." Opened up my live well, said, "See, empty." And then we just from there, he didn't ask another question other than just sat there and bullcrapped with us about fishing for a little, probably 5-10 minutes.
Cindy.
What's this? And then we went out to because we had 6 rods in the holders in the back, and we had 2 on the side, and you're only allowed 3 apiece.
Right.
And he's like, he goes, "You guys realize that you're only allowed 3 rods apiece?" I said, "Yes, sir. Those are the ones that are baited. We just pulled these up. We were headed out to the main river where we're going to use our Kentucky license."
Right.
Okay. It was very simple, right? Very cordial conversation. And there was no harassment. He's doing his job. We sat there and BS'd. We went out to the Ohio River. We was dragging bait for probably an hour and a half or more. And here he comes back and he pulls up and he was like, and he looks and he goes, "Oh," he's like, "I already got you guys, didn't I?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And I was like, "How you doing there, Steve?" And he said, "Good." He's like, "You guys having any better luck out here?" And I was like, "Well, it's slower out here than it was in there." And he said, "Well, you keep it up. Have a good day." And he went on down and around his business. You know?
But you know, and that's just it.
If
you talk to these guys, they may even give you information.
Yeah.
You know, where somebody else was having good luck, or you know,
I had
what you know. So
I had one pull up, and Bobby's right here. It says it's this simple: treat them with respect. Most of the time, you get it back. If you're not doing anything wrong, you're good. I mean, that's the truth. A couple years ago, we had a real hard freeze, and we hadn't had one in a long time. And I got the bright idea I was going to go out and try to ice fish.
I know where you got that idea from.
Yeah, I do. And so I went out there and I was getting my stuff all ready. And I'm, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm a little nervous on it. And, you know, I don't want to fall through the ice. But I get out there, Fish and Wildlife pulls up. He's like, "Hey, what you doing?" I said, "I'm going to cut a hole in the ice and go ice fishing." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he's like, "If you got you an ice auger, you know, we're talking shooting bull." I said, "No, I got something better. I got a cordless chainsaw." And he said, "This I have to see." And I said, "Good." I said, "Because if I fall through this ice, I know you're here to help me get out of the ice." He goes, "I got a rope. We'll pull you out." And he hung out for a while. He watched me get out there and cut a hole in the ice with a chainsaw. And I mean, just a real good guy. And I didn't catch anything that day.
But you know, the chances of him sticking around, you know, even if he was sitting in his truck watching, he doesn't see people ice fish all the time.
No,
you know, he wanted to make sure that you were safe on that ice and that you weren't, you know, going to be falling through.
He had actually come out. There was a big group from one of the local police departments. A bunch of those younger guys had gotten together and they were playing ice hockey over on another part of the lake that wasn't about I don't know, maybe 2 foot max in this little bay. It used to be an old marina, but now it's silted in, so it's super shallow. You walk across it, and he had
That is
gone out
100%,
there.
Uncle Lou.
He had
100%.
gone out there because people on the highway had seen all these people out on the ice and been concerned about it. So he went out, checked it out, talked to them. Of course, they were from the local PD, and he's laughing. And then he'd come back there where I was at. And he's like, I'm just making sure people are, he goes, safe out here on the ice. And we stood around and talked for a while. And I said, if I start catching fish, I said, I'll probably go live. I said, just because this is something that I rarely even have an opportunity to do.
To do. Right. Yeah. But I mean, and it's just respect, guys. You give what you get.
Yeah. And you got to, back to selective harvest, you got to know your body of water. If I'm fishing Wren Lake and I catch a 8-pound channel cat or so, I know that I don't catch as many of those on Wren as I do on crab. 8-pound, he's probably going back. Now, crab orchard, it is absolutely nothing to catch a 10-pound channel cat on crab. You actually, if you go out and you're into channel cats on crab and you don't catch one that's double digits, it's a rarity. So on crab, what I look at, about 15 pounds or under.
Yeah. And everybody should have their limit. Everybody sets their own, what they are willing to take home, what they're not willing to take home, what they want to CPR. Mine is, for channel cat, it's, 10 pounds and under.
Yeah.
Blues, it's 15 and under. Flats, same thing, 15 and under. See,
I don't catch enough flats to even consider harvesting one. I know they're in there.
We do around here.
We've got some massive ones in crab that tend to elude me.
Crabs?
Yeah, Chad, we got crabs.
Massive ones. Anyway.
Yeah, massive ones. We didn't have them till Jerry Parker started fishing our local waters. So.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, he's not in chat, so I could pick on him.
Even if would.
He'll watch it. He'll hear about it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jerry Parker, he caught an 81-pound blue the other night. Congratulations on that.
That's on the bragging board tonight. I've got that set up to play at the end of the show. It's got my 50 pounds plus of fish that I brought home yesterday.
A great harvest. Great harvest, John.
Man, that was a good harvest there. Yeah.
That stringer was biting into my hand. I had to put a big leather glove on to hold that thing up to get the photo. So
James, I got a question when you're talking about the blues and flathead, right? I don't know what the weight is for a channel cat, and the reason I guess I kind of got it in my head about what I harvest and what I don't. And now I'm not saying there ain't an occasion I might keep a 10-pounder or something like that as far as the blue, but when it comes to a maturity of a catfish, and that's what a female that will spawn or lay eggs and spawn, right?
Okay.
And the reason I had started thinking that and why I kind of put that 8-pound was about the range of when a female blue cat would start laying eggs. Is that true or not? Or do you know?
That's they'll start laying in about their 3rd year. All right. Okay. Most of the time, any of your catfish species and stuff like that, right around the third year. And again, I cannot stress this enough. This depends on where you're at in the country. All right. Yeah, if you're up north, there's very seldom is a blue caught above lock and dam 19. Very seldom. All right. So you don't have a big blue population up there. So, but in my area, 3 pounds, or 3 years of age, they actually start thinking, you know what? Okay, it's time for me to go spawn. And that includes channel cat, that includes blue cats, that includes flathead. So at 3 years old, they're mature enough to already start spawning. They're just not laying as many eggs. So, and that's the limit. Okay, do you harvest one that's just started? Do you want some that have already been bred out, for 5 to 10 years, every single one of them have a shelf life. That shelf life could be in a month. It could be, a year. It could be 10 years down the road. But every fish is going to die at some point. And it's your personal choices to, if you pull it at, the time you want to. So I personally, if I'm after, stocking the freezer for the winter months, I'll take a month and I fish nonstop for that month, and I'll go through and I'll catch channel cats, I'll catch blues, I'll catch flatheads, I'll catch crappie, bass, bluegill, all of it, because I want that variety of fish in my freezer. And I'll make sure that I'm within my personal limit, possession limit, and I'll stock my freezer with it. And then I'll go back to, selective harvest and, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just everybody's different. You may catch, say a 5-pound channel cat and think, you know what, I just don't want to mess with it. And I've done that, just throwing a whole, mess of them back, just catch them, throw them back in the water. We've all done it. We just want to get out of the house and go fishing for a while. And it's the same with crappie and bass and all this stuff. But the more fish. Right. And you don't have to clean fish. Right. And for the most part, most of the places that I fish, I always run into somebody that would love a limit of fish. And if you pull a basket of crappie up out of the water and you're like, man, I really don't want to clean them. If there's 5 people there, there's going to be 4 of them that are fighting over who wants those fish.
Yep.
And pick
one.
Have to watch divide them up.
Though. You have to watch that.
You do, because that still counts as your limit.
That's right. At some of these conservation lakes, you're not allowed to give them fish to anyone on their property.
Right.
You have to go off the property to give them to them.
But that's where I was saying,
you just pull out in the road and you're a done deal.
Right. But that's where I'm saying, always make sure that you know your rules and regulations for any body of water that you are fishing on. Because the limit, even your size limit, your daily limit, your possession limit. I mean, they all change lake to lake to lake.
That's right.
And James, I've got a question for you. It came up last night when I was cleaning the fish. Christina was out there helping me do that. And I know the answer that I gave her, but I want to run it past you.
Okay.
A couple of the female channel cats that I caught when I started filleting them out last night were smack dab full of eggs.
Okay. All right. And this is a huge, huge misconception. All right. And this is where people start to say, oh, well, there's 2 spawning seasons for crappie. There's 2 spawning seasons for catfish, this type of stuff. In coal fire plant lakes and stuff like that, where your water temperature kind of fluctuates between, say 65 to 80 degrees year round. All right. You may have a catfish that spawns twice a year. It's rare, but you may have to. A lot of the time, and this is especially with bass, any of your panfish and stuff like that, when you're catching after that spawn, all right, say I go out and I catch, a limit of crappie in a day, all right, and I go back the next day and I just want to catch for fun. And I catch a female, she's full of eggs, I throw her back in the water. There is a very high chance she will not spawn that year. What happens is they don't go back out into the water and go, well, my spawn is all ruined up thanks to that jackass, so, I'm just going to spit my eggs out. They will reabsorb those eggs back into their body. They don't, they don't expel them. It's just reabsorbed nutrients and stuff like that. And it's literally, not hurting the fish, and they'll spawn again next year. So that's normally what it is something has happened that ran that fish off of their bed or something like that during the spawn, and they just didn't drop their eggs.
My thoughts were that they were starting to basically produce them for the next year, but
if they were full egg sacs,
yeah, she had it. She was pretty full. Yeah,
she was pretty. Then chances there's a really, really good chance she missed her spawn this year.
Oh, okay. She's gonna miss it for the rest of the years too, because she's.
Well, that's You'll have that every once in a while with selective harvest.
Yep.
But yeah. So I mean, if you catch a crappie, especially right around now, and it still has a very small egg sac in it that looks kind of off colorish, that's what's happening. Is they're those fish are reabsorbing those eggs back into their body. Is all that is.
Bobby, I don't know. I could do that, buddy.
The caviar.
Ooh, I ain't even fish.
I don't know. There's people that swear by them.
They're pretty good.
Y'all can have those. There's QC Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Great conversation tonight, fellas.
It really was. James, we want to thank you so much for coming on and talking about this stuff. A lot of things you went over tonight, I've been preaching for years and years and years. Sometimes you think it's on deaf ears, but every once in a while you'll get through to somebody. And if you get through if you get through to one person, that's a home run.
Yep. You do. And
did you say something, Lyle?
And again, folks, listen. Your area of fish, your body of water. You know if it's healthy, if it needs help, if it needs work. You can tell if that fish needed to be harvested or you need to, release more fish or keep more fish or whatever. Just do your part. That's all we can do.
I agree 100%. Yep. Great conversation tonight. We'll do this again really soon. I hope, because, it's nice having James on here to help us out with stuff like that, because he is in with the conservation department pretty heavy. He does a lot of stuff for them and very knowledgeable, and makes for a good show.
I appreciate you having me on tonight.
Yeah. Well,
I can't say that we loved having you on here, but
I did.
Beats a sharp stick in the ass.
How about that bragging board, Josh?
Yep. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
End stream button, and it's going to play automatically.
All right.
What'd you say, Chad?
There we go.
I said I will see you guys here in a couple weeks. Again, I will be out of town next week.
You're going to Joyzy.
I got to go.
Joyzy.
Chad's getting sent to New Jersey next week.
Joyzy.
So.
Well, if it's got to be one of us, I'm glad it's you.
Yeah, it's no kidding.
So watch for Chad next week on Real Housewives.
Or Jersey Shore or whatever.
Or Jersey Shore or something like that.
That's right.
Again, not a trip of choice.
He's lost all that weight. Now he's a trophy husband. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what it is.
God.
I got news. I've been a trophy husband since the day she said I do. But
oh man,
you guys have a great week.
See, there he is up in the corner.
Yeah,
young Chad.
On that note, we're going to say goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Thanks everybody for watching. See you next week. Hey, next week is the
next week is Top Cat.
Top Cat.
I just somehow almost
premiere of Top Cat.
Yep, first show of the year.
Chad's conveniently missing every Top Cat now, but we'll have.
Like, oh, you guys are going to go 2 hours? Hey, boss, can I get a work trip on this date? All right, have a good week.
Howdy folks, it's time once again to take a look at the Catfish Weekly Bragging Board, the weekly video series where we showcase the amazing fish caught by you, our viewers. Leading us off this week is our good friend Ernest of River Rat 3030. Falling temperatures usually brings on a catfish feeding frenzy. Ernest took advantage of the fall bite and hauled in a couple of very nice blue catfish. Great work, my friend. Congratulations. Next up, we have Lance Makugai, the Hawaiian fisherman. Lance sent in this photo of a very nice brown trout he caught during a recent outing. This fish no doubt went on to become some tasty table fare for Lance. Nicely done. Don't adjust your sets, folks. That is indeed Catfish Weekly's own Mr. Lyle Stokes holding a catfish. I know you all thought he only targeted bass now, but Lyle is here to prove you wrong. Great work, buddy. The fall bite was on fire at a local lake for me yesterday afternoon. In just a few hours of dragging baits, I was able to boat a little over 50 pounds of tasty channel catfish and put some meat in the freezer. Stacia Stone joins us for the first time on the bragging board this week. Our good friend Danny Stone caught a mess of crappie this weekend, but it was Stacia who turned them into these beautiful po' boy sandwiches. And closing us out this week is this 81-pound behemoth of a blue cat caught by none other than Jerry Parker of Parker Pursuits. This hog was pulled from the Mississippi River this past Friday evening, and Jerry said it put up one hell of a fight. Great work, Jerry. Don't forget, guys, you too can be featured on the Catfish Weekly bragging board. To be eligible, the fish needs to have been caught within the past 14 days, and we accept pictures of any species of fish. Get yourself or a friend on the bragging board. All you need to do is email your fish photo to pics@theweekendangler.com. Send us the information shown on your screen, and we'll get it on the board for you. Thank you all for watching. Have a great week.